Good morning, Canes fans. I wish it was a better morning. I wish we were celebrating a victory on the road in the ACC against North Carolina. But once again, we are in misery. Another loss to North Carolina. More U's turned upside down. And just blah. That's how I feel. Blah. And I tweeted this out last night. And we'll get to the game. But I tweeted this out last night, which is I've just been watching the same thing for close to 20 years. Just rinse and repeat, year after year, since about, 2006? Somewhere around there, 2006, 2007. It's just been the same, as we would say in Yiddish, dreck. Just not good enough. Now, I didn't think we would win yesterday. After the Georgia Tech debacle, I was not confident that this team could regain its momentum. I think what hurts even more is that you really had a chance to win that game last night if you kept playing the way you did early on. You know, if you subtract a fumble in the end zone and then another fumble by Tyler and then 2 interceptions and a stupid unsportsmanlike penalty on our defensive coordinator, which is a new one to me. Never seen the defensive coordinator get a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. Not quite sure if that's, quote, playing to the standard. But you had great things going last night, and you just threw it all away. One, you had no answer for Tez Walker. One guy just lit you up all game. By the way, thank you, NCAA, for granting him eligibility the week that they're playing Miami. You could not stop the run. It was starting to feel like that game a couple of years ago where, 2 guys rushed for 7 billion yards, and they're still running. Those 2 guys are still running on Miami somewhere. It was like 2 guys for 520 yards of offense. Jeez. Just Miami could not stop the run. And even though Drake May is, he's, not Lamar Jackson, but he hurt you in the run game too. Quarterbacks running up the middle, getting first downs, untouched. Another thing, another staple of the Miami Hurricanes defense of the modern era. And it's been different coaches and different coordinators and different players, but it's still the same. And it's so damn frustrating. And there's a million reasons why, and I don't feel like exploring it right now. It's been a systemic, institutional breakdown of the entire football process over the course of 15, 16, 17 years that has led to me feeling like it's deja vu all over again. That's where we are. Plus, I have a headache. There's that. If you had told me that Miami would have, I think, 480 something yards of offense, and the other team would have like 150 penalty yards, I would tell you, all right, Miami's going to win. North Carolina was shooting themselves in the foot, penalty after penalty. And yet, Miami couldn't take advantage. Because dumb plays. And also, let me ask this question. Do we have tight ends on this team? Like, is there anyone? Has anyone seen a tight end? Does Shannon Dawson know what a tight end looks like, or Tyler Van Dyke? Can they identify a tight end? Like, if I took you to if I took you to like a milk carton and put on a like, have you seen this tight end? Would Shannon Dawson or Tyler Van Dyke be able to identify the tight end, the aforementioned tight end? Arroyo warmed up yesterday. According to the participation report, he was in the game, although I don't remember him being in the game, but surely he was in the game. But he certainly wasn't targeted because no tight ends were targeted last night. I think there's like a tight end has like 2 catches on the season or 3 or I don't know, something minuscule. And not that that's the savior of the offense, but it's just indicative of like, here's my personal situation. I really like Tyler Van Dyke. I really do. I really think he's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's got all of the necessary skills to play quarterback. But he has an obsession with his roommate, Xavier Restrepo. And it's an unhealthy obsession. It is so unhealthy that last night he targeted Xavier Restrepo 17 times, and everybody else got single-digit targets, despite their success in being open. And again, no targets to a tight end. And I get it, right? Like, Xavier Restrepo is playing that Braxton Berrios role. Or if we're going to go into NFL lore, the Julian Edelman role, right? Which is great. That can work for you. But, like when Tom Brady had Julian Edelman, he also had a Rob Gronkowski, right? That was also utilized very much. And Miami just, despite other guys going off, continues to come back to Xavier Restrepo when other teams at this point pretty much understand, hey, Tyler's going to look at X. And listen, I continue to say this, and it's amazing, and I don't know how all of you feel, but like I've watched football my entire life. I've watched this program my entire life. But to say I know enough about offensive scheming as an offensive coordinator in football I would be remiss if I did that. So I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know more than Shannon Dawson. But just from the outside looking in, like something is not right. Right? You up until the Georgia Tech game, this team was just flying on offense, scoring a bunch of points, getting a bunch of yards, and then we had the game against Georgia Tech in which something was definitely off, and there's the 3 interceptions, and then this game, yeah, you got yardage, that's fine, but when you needed it, you couldn't get it because you were just focusing on one person. So I don't know how to fix that. Lance Guidry has one of the reasons he was brought in here is because he had the best third down defense in the country at his last stop. And on 3rd and 20, now, listen, we can have the debate. Should they have accepted the penalty? Should they have declined the penalty? Do you want 2nd and 30 or 3rd and 20? Do you want to give Drake May an extra chance, or do you think you could probably stop him on 3rd and 20? Well, I guess if I'm Mario, I'm going, well, 3rd and 20 seems like that's a good cushion for our defense to make a stop. Right? Like that's good. Like I don't need to push to 2nd and 30 because why give Drake May an extra chance to stab us in the back? So it's 3rd and 20 and just defensive breakdown in the defensive backfield. It happened a couple times last night. And it's got to be fixed. It has to be fixed. Like, and even guys that I really like, Jaden Davis is one of my favorite guys on the team. He really is. And he had a couple of breakdowns last night. And then, of course, we had it to Corey Couch. And look, even Cam Kinchins looked human. We just can't have these breakdowns in the secondary and expect you're going to win a game against a guy that, could end up being in New York for the Heisman ceremony. It's just not going to happen. I pause, by the way. I'm looking at myself in the screen here as I tape this and realize I'm wearing my Patriots shirt on an NFL Sunday, and my Patriots are horrible. But, that means I stick with my teams. Just like I'll stick with this team, no matter how much they hurt me, over and over and over and over and over again. And now you have Clemson coming in. And granted, it's going to be a home game, night game, and all of that jazz. Maybe you could pull something out of something. But would you bet your life on it? Would you? I wouldn't. I don't know what the line is. I haven't looked. I guess I can look that up right now while I'm talking to you. But, I mean, how do you expect Miami to beat Clemson? And we talked about this, right? We talked about we talked about how one loss can equal 2 losses, can equal 3 losses, the spiral effect. And it is quite clear that the spiral effect was in effect and is in effect because the spiraling is going on. But I don't see a line yet for Miami and Clemson. I don't see it out yet. Yeah, I mean, what if you lose to Clemson? 3 in a row. Does 3 become 4? Do you lose another stupid game along the way? Do you end up losing to a Virginia team just because? I hope not. That would suck. I mean, Louisville looks human now. They lost to Pitt. But do you feel confident about that? What do you feel confident about at this point if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan? What game do you look at on the schedule and go, I feel confident about that? I don't know what to tell you. And I feel like I've been doing the same, post game, next day chat with you guys for ever since we started on YouTube. It's just the same. If I had my Pepto-Bismol with me last night, I would have been drinking it. Said I had way too many vodka sodas, but that's neither here nor there. So let's see if we can get our thoughts together here. Miami goes into North Carolina, has a pretty good first half in which they have the lead, then gives up 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, and then can't come back. And again with the stupid U's upside down. How is it that other conferences can, ban players from mocking their opponents by doing stupid things with their opponent's, thing? I don't even know what that means. You could tell it's a tough morning. The whole upside down Texas Longhorns, hook 'em horns thing is banned. But the ACC is like, ha 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 ha. Upside down U's, we love that. Also, we'll always give you the worst officials because we're the ACC. God, if I see one more upside down U, and I know it's such a petty thing and it shouldn't hurt me, but it does. It's just so disrespectful. I mean, just so disrespectful. I mean, also this is, I can't tell you that wasn't someone that was sitting in the stands in the Orange Bowl doing our version of the FSU chop where a middle finger might have been extended. So I'm being a little bit hypocritical. But there's that. The Miami players never did it on the field, though. That's the fans. ACC officiating, that's a whole nother situation. Holy crap, do they not like us? I mean, what was it Keontra Smith's unsportsmanlike conduct? Like, they showed the replay, and I saw barely anything happen. I mean, come on. What are you doing? Just what are you doing? And listen, Lance Guidry, I know you wanted a timeout, but did you have to like go overboard and be like 27 yards out into the field and take your headset off and throw it and yell at the ref? And that's not playing to the standard, is it? No, it's not at all. So that hurt you big time. It was not good. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, that's the beep because the dog's going outside. He's allowed to go outside. You know, it's Marley. He's got to go outside. On a bright spot, we are adopting a new rescue dog today that has been abused. So I feel like I can cleanse my soul a little bit by, giving a dog a new home, a dog that has been horribly treated, giving him a new home. So there is that. There's that for me on a Sunday, because otherwise I feel horrible. And I'm probably going to miss most of the Patriots-Raiders game, which will also, because last week that was very fun. It was really fun to go through the Georgia Tech debacle and then see the Patriots get absolutely obliterated. And I don't know what, listen, we all have been there, right? The double loss Saturday, Sunday. It's never a fun thing. So I watched my Canes yesterday lose, and I'm going to probably miss most of the Patriots, who will probably lose to the Raiders today because that's just the way the season's going. And as I once said on the Tobin and Leroy show, it was Tobin, Leroy, and Beast at that point, which is Fire Belichick. I digress. I apologize. Speaking of firing, I saw a bunch of you tweeting about firing Mario. That's not going to happen. That's not a thing that's going to be even contemplated. There's way too much money invested. It's not that. You can say what you want about the process. You didn't interview all these candidates. All of the stuff about how, like, you are in bed with Mario. That's there you have. That's what it is. There's no way out. That's not happening. There's no booster that's going to come up with the amount of money to buy him out and then pay another coach. That's not a thing that's happening. And nor should he be fired. Here's the thing is sometimes, you fail to see the forest through the trees. Like, we're so just locked in on each game that we're forgetting that this was a huge rebuild project. So you got to give it. Actually, I talked to someone that would know last night, and this person told me Mario's getting through 2025 regardless of what happens. So let's go with that. You got to give it time. But you got to get better. And you got to stop losing games that you have a chance to win. Whether it's by the stupidity of a head coach who doesn't want to kneel, or by just mistake after mistake after mistake, and we're going to target the same receiver 700 times, and we can't stop the run up the middle, and Tez Walker's going to burn us 4 billion times and look like a Heisman candidate after one game. That stuff is just too much for me. Brandon O'Doy and I talked about this on the podcast earlier in the week. We do 2 a week now, and you can go to wherever you get your podcast to get all the back episodes. If this is your first one, or if you're watching on YouTube, go to the Real Ones Canes YouTube channel for some clips of our past shows. But we talked about, everyone was talking about, hey, Emery's got to get in. Well, they're trying not to burn his red shirt. And I believe he's already played in 4 games. So if he goes out there, his red shirt's burned. So I don't think you're going to see Emery again unless it's an emergency situation. Chikuri hasn't played at all this season. So he's got 4 games to play and can still redshirt. So if you're making a quarterback switch, it's probably going to be Ja'Carri Brown. And, Brandon talked about it on the podcast earlier in the week that you need to, at some point, assess your backup quarterback situation. You need to see Ja'Carri. And, I got all sorts of hate last night when I tweeted that. Oh, he can't read a defense. And, oh, he's just a running back. Well, okay, let's, at this point, throw him out there for a series. Put him out there for a series in a game. Maybe spark some offense. Who knows? But I'll take that for one series over target Restrepo, interception. Or target Restrepo, incomplete, fumble. It's like a broken record. So I think you have to assess Ja'Carri Brown at this point. You've assessed Emory. I think you know what you got there, hopefully. Word is that he's really good in practice. Not that means much. But let's assess Ja'Carri. Because otherwise I feel like he's heading to the portal. That's just my thoughts on the things. Anyways. So Miami with 2 losses on the season after you started off undefeated, had a good first quarter of the season, and then you lose 2 in a row. Will Miami lose 3 in a row? Will a home game against Clemson be another soul crusher? God, I hope not. I really hope not. If there's anything left with this team, please come out and play well against Clemson and try to get back on track. Just make it to a bowl game and win that bowl game, and I'll be okay. Big picture-wise, 35,000-foot view, if this team can get to a bowl game and win the bowl game, don't pull a Miami and get blown out in a bowl game, win a bowl game, and I'm okay. I can take that into 2024. I can be okay with that. I don't know about you. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you keep it locked here wherever you're watching this, seeing this, listening to this, all of that stuff. Remember, you can go wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to the Real Ones Canes podcast. I've got my YouTube channel, which I put stuff on, but we also have the Real Ones Canes podcast YouTube channel. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe there. And always follow me on the socials at Miami Radio Beast, and follow the whole production on the socials at Real Ones Canes. All right, that'll do it for me. My boy Brandon O'Doy will be back when we do the podcast, and it'll come your way on Thursday. And here's to a better week this week. Go Canes.